Hey, hello, drumstickers, and welcome again. Alberto Iglesias Drumsticks Sunday channel. A different pair of drumsticks every week. Still excited because this past Friday we went to Zamora. It's a town near here because of the great Miki Grau. There was master club inside of a new festival we have here in Spain. It's the Alteza Drum Fest. By the way, congratulations and thank you. Juanjo and Alberto from Alteza. Thank you for creating this because all that kind of events I think are great for drums and great for the people that love drums, and so thank you, bro. Benny crushed it as always. The only problem for me is that he has requested at this point a restriction order for me. And I totally get it, he's completely right on that. So, I could see Benny 1,000 times in a row and always learn something different. So, thank you, Benny, for coming to Spain. And by the way, you still have a chance. It's on Monday, it's in Barcelona. So, it's up to you, but that's all I can say. Other thing, I have homework for this week. I was talking with, I went there to Zamora with my brother, Rodri Irizábal from, to Ritmo. It's a great channel, you have to check that out. I'm gonna put that on the notes. Check that out, great stuff, super original videos and a lot of stuff. Great, check that out, please. And he told me, man, stop moving the freaking hands when you're talking in your videos. You just clapping and pointing and all that stuff, continuously moving, and you're freaking me out. So he's completely right, I have to say, and I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna try to be more relaxed and with less stressful. So you have to check this video, Rodri, and let me know how it goes. I'm gonna work on that. I'm holding my hands, holding my legs, and okay, let's see how it goes. Okay. This week let's talk about drumsticks. Okay, that's the reason of all this. This week I've been using the American Jazz AJ1 from VicFirth, and the main reason is that because when I was in Sevilla at the Drum Fest, my new brother Miki Grau, another great channel, by the way. I put that in the notes too. You have to check this. He's an awesome player. It's the Spanish version of Steve Jordan. So he told me that this is the model that he is using actually. So if Miki is using something, you have to try it. It's a rule of the universe. So let's see how it goes. Okay. Okay, about the drumsticks. Well, first, before I forget that, I'm gonna show you a picture of the drumsticks so you have the look. Okay, here we have it. Okay, cool. Let's start with the measures on the sizes and all the stuff. It's a 16 inches long drumstick. We have a diameter of 0.595 inches. Super long taper and small, let's say, teardrop tip. Okay, it's hickory. And the regular finish of VicFirth, the lacquer of VicFirth. Okay. Well, a little trying to translate a little bit. It's a 5B grip. Okay. If you love that, it's good for you. If you don't like 5B, not so good for you. About the length, it's a 16 inches. It's regular size, and the super extra taper, it's gonna have a lot of influence in the drumstick. Let's start with about the grip. It's regular 5B, that's all I can say. If you like it or if you don't like it, it's up to you. You have to try it to see how it goes for your hand and all that stuff. Okay, let's talk about the most important part of the drumstick for me, which I think is the taper. Well, it's a combination of the taper and the tip. But the idea of this is like if you have a regular 5B and just decreases this part, okay? You increase the taper, this is all, you remove material from all here. So you finally get this, okay? It's like you minimize the half of the drumstick, okay? Well, what happens with that? As you know, about the taper, first main things, I think. The first one is the rebound. Super improved rebound, it's a fast drumstick, but at the same time, you know what happens when you have super huge and pretty thin drumstick here, that you lose control. The rebound is more random, okay? So, but I have to say about that, it's not really, I think it's not difficult to get used to that. I mean, you can learn to control that pretty fast in 1-2 days using this type of drumstick. You can get used to that rebound pretty well. So I would say that I think that shouldn't be a problem for anybody, okay? The rebound thing. But the other aspect, you know, is the sound. The sound changes pretty much, in fact. Okay, when you remove material here, you have less weight in the drumstick. So when you hit, and you have even the tip in that case, it's smaller. So when you hit, let's first talk about snare and toms. Okay, when you hit a snare, you can notice that it's, for me, I will say that you can hear more the drum head sound and less of the, you know, the rest of the fattest part of the sound. It's kind of missing, okay? It's not a volume question. You can play pretty hard with that and sound pretty high, but it's not a question of the volume. It's more the type of sound you get. Okay, I think it makes sense because when you remove material, the strength of the stroke gets reduced because strength is mass, I think is mass multiplied by acceleration. So you have less mass. So the strength of the hit it's less. So it's kind of you are able to excite the level of excitement you can apply to the drum head. It's smaller. So you can move less here. It's kind of all that. So that's why I say that you can hear more the drum hit. You can hear more the slap of the hit, or the stroke, sorry. You can hear more the slap, the first hit of the stroke, but you miss a little bit of that cover or the rest of the sound. I know if I'm able to being able to explain that in English pretty well, but it's pretty. You're gonna notice that immediately when you use a drumstick like this or a similar, I don't know, with pretty long and small, long taper, small, all that stuff. It's the main thing you're gonna notice. So about that, it's not so easy. It's not a question of get used to that. It's a question of if you like it or not, and if the kind of music or type of music you are playing fits with this sound. Okay. So about the tip, what I would say it's just the same idea of the taper thing. It's pretty small, less weight, less surface touching the drum head or all that. So it's kind of the same idea. It's a combination of both that happens with the sound. Okay, about the ride or the cymbals in general, it's the same idea. You get a more definition. It's kind of I would say it's even sweeter sound. Maybe it's not the perfect word, but it's kind of that. The cymbal opens, you know, not so much. It's more definition, more you can hear better ping. So I mean, they are designed for jazz for sure, and they perfectly fit in that area, because for swinging, for example, it's perfect. You get pretty fast rebound, focus sound, all that stuff. Okay. When you need for example, the ride, when you need the ride to open more and to get, you know, more fuller sound, you have to hit with that part, and maybe in the side of the cymbal, and something similar to that. But it's kind of, I would say that it's you have a limit. I mean, this the idea of this, you're not going to be able to make this drumstick sound like a 2B, for example, because of the amount of wood and all that stuff. But I know you have this option. You can play with that. But for example, to play with the ride, play with this part, it's, I think, for me, kind of sucks. I don't like that. For the snare, works perfectly. You get fatter sound. You can combine these two parts. So, but about the ride, for example, it's you get a different sound. That's all I can say. So you have to test it and see if it works for you and for your music. Maybe it's more important that sometimes it's not a question that you like the sound, but sometimes you like the sound, but it doesn't fit with the music you're playing. So it's all I can say. It's not a question of get used to something. Well, let's recap about the drums. Well, I have to say something before. I really for me, it fits really well because of the way I play and the things I've been playing now and all that. But mainly because it's kind of a brother of the Vincent 5A jazz stick. I have a video. We made a video of that in the past. It's kind of the same idea from Vincent, but in that case it's a 5A instead of 5B. So you have that option too. You can, if you prefer 5B, this is the way to go. If you prefer 5A, you have that option with Vincent. And you know, different grip. You have the lacquer in VicFirth, you have the wax in Vincent. But what I want to say is that it's kind of the same idea. It's in that case it's a 5A, but this is a 5B. But they have increased the taper and reduce all that part. So the feeling of the drumstick completely changed. Believe me, completely. It's a completely different drumstick. Okay. So trying to recap now. I would say first thing I have to say: don't think that it's just a jazz drumstick. I don't think. I think that's not true. In fact, for me, I think it fits really, really well in busy groups. It's an awesome drumstick for that. Fusion and you know, when you have a lot of 16s in the hi-hat, fast 16, or even for grooves that linear grooves or you know, grooves that you have to you have a lot of strokes, ghost notes combined with hi-hat, and then you move and open and all that stuff. When you have all that kind of fast movements, they are really, really great because the rebound is great. You don't have to worry so much about that, and you can focus more on the movements of your arms and all that. For me, are great for that. In fact, I've seen that Dan Mayo, one of my obsessions now, he's using this. Well, he has now his own, you know, his logo or name here and all that stuff, but it's an American Jazz one. So that kind of sound, if you know Dan Mayo, if you don't know it, please check that out. But if you know Dan Mayo, that kind of busy grooves works really great with this. So about that, for shuffle, blues, jazz, for example, of course, for all that stuff fits really, really well. For even pop, well, that kind of style when you don't require a lot of big and all, you know, big sounds and all that. If you are playing rock or heavy rock or metal and all that stuff, I would say it's not, in my opinion, it's not the best choice. I mean, for that styles you require more sound, more power. So I will go with something with more material here in front, okay? Well, and that's all I have to say about the, I think it's all I can say about the drumstick. It's, you have to check that out and see if it works for you or not, and let me know how it goes, okay? You can put a comment and say, oh, I love it, I hate it, or whatever, okay? American Jazz 1. Okay, for the next week, I'm going to continue with the awesome series from, from Drumsticks Sunday about the improved grip, okay? And this time we're gonna go with the Pro Mark with another, it's something new of this year too. I think it's this year. It's what they call the active grip. It's as you know, it's a layer. You have the whole drumstick. It's covered with that layer, and after reading a little bit about that, it's kind of cool. I think the idea is cool. It's kind of more jig stuff, technology and all that stuff. But you have to wait for for the next week, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, I'll explain you what it is and how it works and all that stuff. Okay. Have a nice week. Keep practicing. If you are from Barcelona, please go to Benny's clinic. You have to go, okay? Let me know how it goes. Say hi to Benny from me and say that I'm here in Santander. Don't worry. So, have a nice week. Keep practicing, please, and let me know how it goes, the American Jazz, okay? Goodbye.